Hey guys, how's it going? Glad you stopped in. Tonight we're cooking dinner, right? It's Wednesday. So tonight I thought we'd do, I was racking my brain, trying to figure out what can we cook for dinner. There's only 500,000 recipes out there and I couldn't think of anything that sounded not bad or good, but just fun. And then Chris sent me a recipe through Facebook that is a meatloaf. It's basically a barbecue meatloaf with mac and cheese, and it's a casserole. That sounds wicked good and fun, right? At least I thought so. And every bit of the recipe is something that's readily available either at the grocery store or you might even just have in your pantry. I know we did. Now, you're thinking to yourself, Brian, you seem to have everything in your pantry. That's because every time I go to the grocery store, I spend an extra $5. You know, that if I have it, to buy something a little extra to put downstairs in the basement in our grocery store. You know, or your pantry. If you do that, you accumulate a lot rather quickly before you even know it, which can come in handy. You know, I mean, I know right now it's, you know, nice outside for the most part, if you can avoid the tornado warnings and stuff like that, but during the winter time, that comes in real handy if you get snowed in, you know, or even on hot days when it's really hot and you don't feel like going outside. You probably have it and you can make a dinner or a lunch or breakfast or whatever. It all comes in handy. And that's important. You know, that's the reason why we grow and process a lot of our vegetables. You know, so that way on days I don't feel like going to the store or don't have, you know, can't, or it's too hot or we're not feeling well or we're snowed in, we have it available. But anyhow, I'm getting on tangent. So this recipe is really simple. I think it's going to be awesome to do. It is basically a layer of meatloaf in a 9x13. Although I think tonight, I haven't decided yet, I'll figure it out before we get down to the counter. I may do it in a cast iron, just because that sounds really good. But 9x13 casserole dish with a meatloaf on the bottom of it, some mac and cheese on top, and a whole lot of cheese of your choice, pretty much. So anyhow, that being said, if you're new, this is your first video, welcome. Glad you stopped by. Hope you check out some of my other videos. If you get something out of this one, consider subscribing. You know, if you have subscribed or you're coming back for more, thank you and welcome back. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell. That way you know when my videos come out. Doesn't mean you have to watch it right away, but you'll at least know when they come out, and I try to get 2 to 3 videos out a week. Comments, always welcome. I try to respond to all of them, and so far I've been fairly successful. All I ask is you be nice. You know, think before you type. It's okay to disagree, just think before you speak. That way, you know, not that we've ever had a problem with people not getting along, but I think it's helpful to say that all the same. So anyhow, that being said, let's hop on down here to the counter and we'll get started on this dish. Hold on for me 1 second. Okay, so we are down here at the counter to get started on we're going to start the meatloaf first. And the first thing we need to do is make the sauce that's going to go on top of the meatloaf, but some of it's going to go in it. And it's really easy. It's 2 simple ingredients. It is 1 cup of, in this recipe it was Sweet Baby Rays, hickory and brown sugar BBQ sauce. Now, I'm not using Sweet Baby Rays. I'm using a copycat recipe of it. A couple weeks ago, well, on the 4th of July, I had made hamburgers that were actually very similar to this recipe, and I didn't have any barbecue sauce, so I learned how to make my own, and it is a Sweet Baby Rays copycat recipe, which if you'd like to see, I'm thinking about doing a video on doing some odd and end stuff to keep around the house, soup mixes, sauces, so that may be coming in the next week or 2, but I just learned how to make my own barbecue sauce based on it, and this particular recipe is almost spot on. But use your favorite barbecue sauce, whatever you like. So I've got 1 cup of that, which is, hold on for me 1 second there. I've actually been writing down the grams of stuff as I go, so that way everybody can kind of play along. It is 225 grams, 1 cup of barbecue sauce, and then I've got 1 cup, 245 grams of ketchup right here. And I'm going to put that with the barbecue sauce, and then we will get it good and mixed up as soon as I get all the ketchup out of here. Waste not, want not, I was always told when I was a kid. Which, I mean, kind of makes sense. You don't waste it if you don't want it. So we get that in there and get this mixed up. Okay, so we got that mixed up. We can set that to the side. Now, one thing I did do was I started my oven, 350 degrees, and I have got a pot of water start getting ready to boil. That way we can make our macaroni noodles when the time comes. Then the last thing I did beforehand was I got my 9x13 casserole dish out. I went ahead and decided to go with that. And I sprayed it down with some non-stick spray. You could also use butter or shortening or whatever it is you have available. Alright, so now we got the sauce done. So the next thing I've got in here is some ground beef. I'm using 80-20. The original recipe called for a lean ground beef. I can't afford lean ground beef, so I'm using 80-20. I'll show you a secret to that as we go to eliminate some of the grease off of that. Well, it's not a secret, but it is 2 pounds, 0.91 kilograms, almost a full kilogram of hamburger. And to this, I'm going to add 2 ounces of Lipton onion soup mix, or a soup mix that you like. Mine just happens to be Lipton. And I am going to add 2 eggs. They're large eggs, 100 grams. That 2 ounces was 56 grams of soup mix. And I'm going to follow that up with, it's pretty much 1 sleeve of Ritz crackers or crackers of your choice, but they're butter crackers all the same. And they are 95 grams of butter crackers of your choice. So I'm using Ritz in this case. I just smashed them up. So all we have to do now is go ahead and get this mixed up. You can use your hands, whatever you like to mix it up with, gloves, spoon, spatula. I'm just going to use my hands. Okay, so we've got all that mixed together. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to add a half a cup. Abby said hello. A half a cup of the barbecue sauce into this mix, or our barbecue sauce and ketchup mix. We'll go ahead and put a half a cup in there and get that mixed in real well. Okay, so I got that mixed up, so we still have barbecue sauce in reserve. So now we're going to take our 9x13 pan, scoot that out of the way, that we've got pre-lubricated, and we're just going to take our meatloaf that we've made up and stick it in here and put it in real even light. Well, we'll flatten it out and make it even at any rate. Okay, we got our meat in there and evenly spread. So the last thing we want to do before we put this in the oven is go ahead and take our sauce, get it on there, and find a spatula or something close to it. Spatula right there. Get that sauce out of here, out of the bowl, and then we want to spread this evenly on top. Okay, now that we got that spread evenly on top, all we gotta do is go ahead and stick it in our preheated 350-degree oven. We'll set our timer for 30 minutes. And while that's baking, and they're baking in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and get my noodles boiled, so that way when I come back, we can make the macaroni and cheese is gonna go on top of that. I'll see you here in 1 second. Okay, so I got my noodles boiled, and that was 3 cups, 1 pound, 454 grams of, 3 cups, 420 grams of macaroni noodles. And now I've got just one 10-ounce can, 10.5-ounce can of condensed cheddar cheese soup. It's like cream of cheddar soup. And there's another cream of whatever cheese soup you like, I'm sure you could use that instead. This is just what the recipe called for, and oddly enough, I happen to have a can down in the basement, so I thought I'd run with it. But it's 1 10-ounce can of cheddar cheese soup. Favorite brand doesn't necessarily have to be Campbell's, it's just what I had. And to that, excuse me, I am going to add 2 cups, 480 milliliters of, I'm using whole milk. You can use 2%, whatever you guys keep in your house. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this together until it's completely combined and smooth and creamy. Okay, so we are smooth and creamy, looking like cheddar cheese soup made with milk. So the next thing we want to add to that is our macaroni noodles. Go ahead and get those in there. Those are a little warm on the bottom. And then we are going to add 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of salt, 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of ground black pepper, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder at 12 grams. So you got 4 grams, 4 grams, 12 grams. And then the last thing is 1 tablespoon of onion powder at 8 grams. We're going to go ahead and get those in there. And we will give this a good all mixed together real quick. All right, we are mixed together. So the last thing we need to put in there, in this bowl right here, I have 4 cups, 1 pound, 454 grams of cheese. Now, the original recipe called for a mixture of cheddar and mozzarella, which is great, but I figured we already had the cheddar in here, and I had a few different open cheese blocks, so I went ahead and used what I had. I have a little bit of mozzarella, a little bit of Colby Jack, and a little bit of sharp cheddar cheese in here, combined to equal 4 cups, or like I said, 1 pound or 454 grams of cheese. And I am going to take half of this, and we're going to go ahead and put it in with our noodles. So we'll go ahead and get that mixed in, and then all we have to do is wait for the meatloaf to get out of the oven, which has got about 8 minutes left. So when I come back, we will move on to the next steps. Okay, so got the meatloaf out of the oven. The timer went off for the 30 minutes, and then I had some excess grease kind of puddled up there. So all I did, we used my turkey baster and sucked the grease out of it and put it in my container that holds all my grease except for bacon grease. I keep that separate. You never want to put hot grease down a drain. Worst thing you can do to your drains. It will forever make them just clogged, and then it costs a lot of money to get them fixed. So we got our meatloaf out of the oven after that 30 minutes. Next thing we want to do is go ahead, we're going to put our mac and cheese over top of that. And then the last thing we're going to want to do is take that other 2 cups of cheese, and we're going to put that on top. Okay, we got our cheese back on top. Last thing we need to do is get it back in the oven, like such. There is that. So what do we have to do now? Well, now we are going to set our timer for 20 minutes, but I'm going to say 15 to 20 minutes. What we're looking for is for that cheese on top to be melted and golden brown, or brown, or however it is you like it, but we want that cheese to melt at any rate. So when I come back, I will have gotten it to golden brown, let it cook this 15 to 20 minutes, and I will have it let it set out for about 5 to 10 minutes just to relax and cool down and not melt our face. So when I come back, we'll take a look at it and try some. All right, I'll see you here in a second. Okay, here we are, looking good, nice and golden in color, a little brown on the edges. I think we're in really good shape. I pulled it out of the oven right after its 20-minute mark, and I've been letting it rest for like the last 10 minutes. So that way it gives us a chance to calm down. Because remember, you don't ever want to eat anything straight out of the oven. You'll melt your face off. But in the meantime, while that was cooling, I went ahead and heated up some green beans that we had canned and processed. So that way we had a side dish with it. You don't necessarily have to have a side dish with this. You could actually just put it in a bowl, and I mean, it's kind of a meal in itself. It's meatloaf and macaroni and cheese. Can't go wrong with that. So now we'll go ahead and get us a nice chunk out, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm really hungry at any rate. That is blazing hot. It's slightly messy. That's all right. You'll have that kind of stuff with mac and cheese. I suppose. There we are. Let's fingers off. I know it smells fantastic. Yeah, if nothing else. Get some green beans on the side there, and then we can have maybe a slice or two of bread to go with it down over at the table. But there we are, all the same. Meatloaf, macaroni and cheese, all in a casserole with some green beans, and we'll have some bread to go with it. Let me get you up here right quick. All right, grab us a fork because I forgot. I don't know what I thought I was going to eat this with. Actually, I'm going to use a spoon because I can. But I want to try this meatloaf and this macaroni and cheese because it, like I said, it smells amazing. It looks incredibly sloppy but delicious. And why not? Heck yeah. That is a home run. Get one more bite out of that. Throw some green beans in there. That is delicious. Absolutely delicious. You couldn't ask for a better dish. Now, is this a 30-minute meal? No. But it takes under an hour. Yeah, you're looking at 50 to 60 minutes to get this all done. Most of that's oven time, which isn't horrible. And you've got a good solid meal that'll feed a crew. That would be good if you're having friends over last minute, family stopping by, in-laws call, parents call, say, hey, we're coming over for dinner. Bam. Basic ingredients that you probably have in your kitchen already. And it takes our time to put together. Like I said, most of the time is in the oven. Give this a try. Let me know if you do or if you have something similar to do that. It's been a long time since I've made any kind of meatloaf. And that really is hitting the spot tonight. You know, if you do try, like I said, let me know down in the comments below. Or if you have something similar that you like to try, leave a comment. You know, either way. Tomorrow for dessert, I'm not sure. We may be doing a cheesecake, but I'm not sure. I really don't know yet. But anyhow, we'll figure that out when we get there. So that being said, I love you. I love you very much. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else that you love them and love them very much. They may need to hear it. It's going to make them smile either way. It's going to make you smile to tell them and feel good inside telling them that. And you make them some of this meatloaf, barbecue meatloaf and mac and cheese casserole, I guarantee they're going to feel the love in every bite. It's going to fill their belly, you know, and lead to some good conversation. I can just feel it. So until tomorrow for dessert, I love you, and I'll see you then. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.